Generic Archetypes I, Simpler Frequently Recurring Structures. Not long ago, I attended a presentation done by Eric Wolstenholme on hospital congestion using system dynamics. And this is the model that he presented, though I'm not here to talk about the model. It was just that this keyed me because he was talking about cascading generic archetypes in terms of how this problem led to this problem leads to this problem, and it cycles. And then this reminded me that in 2004, Eric wrote a marvelous article about using generic system archetypes to support thinking and modeling, where he proposed that there were just 4 generic archetypes. And I had forgotten that I had read this article, but going to his presentation brought this back and reminded me that, well, not too long ago, a couple of months probably, I did this musing on what I call the foundation trilogy in terms of the belief that there are 3 basic fundamental structures that are used to create all of the models that we build, regardless of how complex or complicated they are. There's simply an independent growth, a reinforcing or exponential growth, or a balancing or goal-seeking structure. And those combine in a myriad of ways, though they typically combine in ways to create what are frequently referred to as archetypes, and I call them frequently recurring structures, that we see over and over and over again across all branches of science. The marvelous thing that Eric did was he said that there's a generic structure where there's an initiator, there's an action and an outcome. And notice that this loop isn't identified because this loop could be balancing or reinforcing, and there's a reactor loop which could be balancing or reinforcing. And then there's a solution link loop which could be balancing or reinforcing. And using this structure, you can map all of the archetypes that I presented here in frequently recurring structures. You can map them all into this simple structure so that you don't have to become acquainted with all of these various and sundry structures. You can learn to look at this basic structure and realize that it turns up, depending upon whether this is balancing, reinforcing, balancing, balancing, reinforcing, balancing, or reinforcing, reinforcing, as out of control, relative achievement, or underachievement archetypes. And I want to go through each one of those generic archetypes individually, though I don't want to do them here. Otherwise, I'll end up with a video that's longer than I typically want them to be. So this is just Generic Archetypes I to introduce you to the concept of generic archetypes. And then in the next video, Generic Archetypes II, I will talk about each of the 4 individual generic archetypes. And you'll notice how easy it is to relate them to just about everything else that you come across. So hope you found this an interesting introduction, and I'll see you in another video soon. Bye.